Where are we? Hey, everyone. All right, let me give it a couple of seconds because sometimes there's a delay.
Mhm.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nakia. You know me as BeautyCutright. What I have over here is a great person that I have mentioned to you all that I wanted you all to meet. You may have seen her through social media. You may have heard of her through her book because I read this book. This is my 12th time going over this book with myself, and this book has been helpful. And she is promoting her second edition. And we're really going to be talking about forgiveness because we both have experienced some things that allowed us to understand and respect each other's point of view about it. We both have a non negotiable. But we had a chance to understand each other's point of view. And it was wonderful. Like, what did I say when we got on here? I said it's a wonderful, I'm something going through it. It's
Yeah.
tough, but you get through it. So I want you all to welcome Brenda. She is the solutionist. I would love for you all to hear what she has to say. This is amazing. I want you guys to hear her story first because this is really about her. And then it will make sense how we are connected, if that makes sense to you guys. So, welcome. Brenda, go ahead,
You
take the floor.
know,
You should
first of
go
all, I want to just say thank you for having me on your show and allowing me to share and promote my second edition of my book, Soul Search and Get on Board for Transformation using the TAPIN method. I was so excited the first time you told me that you read it, and to hear that you're continuing to read it and share it with others just totally warms my heart. And I think you're going to be even more excited when you see the second edition because I took some of the things that you told me and that other women that are using it for book study and brought some clarity to what I was saying in the book. And
Mhm.
I'm excited about the second edition, and we're going to have the book launch and party on February 11th at 2:30 to 5:30. And anybody that's interested in helping me become a number one international bestseller, join us. It's going to be a blast. But with that said, my connection with you started from me just watching you on YouTube. I was just that random fan watching things that you did. And then one day I saw you sitting on a couch being raw, vulnerable, open about your pending divorce. And it stopped me in my tracks because I was that your story so resonated with me. I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2011. Um, at the time, I was in a marriage that was literally killing me, and I just did not know how I could move forward. But I began to watch that one particular video and I listened to it from start to end. And then I just kept coming back listening to what you say as you were going through your journey. And I thought, how amazing this beautiful black woman is on here just telling her truth and being so raw, vulnerable, and honest. And it made me reevaluate my own life and what I was doing. And I made some major changes in my life. But even after I did that, then we got connected and started being a part of the community, and it was just so amazing how once I got to meet you and got to know you, we just started clicking and started working together doing various projects, which were pretty amazing. So I'm
Amazing.
excited about that.
Excited. Yes, she is correct. We together along with Latrice, and let's say hi to Vanessa. Her
Hey,
birthday.
Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa. We see you on here, girl. We see you. But yeah, we started with we created the Listen community. I never say that
Mhm,
I created it. We created it. It was all of us. That includes Vanessa. She was a
mhm.
part of it. But the amount of drive that Brenda has when she stepped up to the plate and became a person that served other people, I recognized that immediately in her. Um, it was hard. It was so like I don't even know how to say it, but it was so big to hear her story and to hear that my raw and honest lifestyle was like hers, and she gets to see somebody that feels and thinks and does the same things, and to hear that come back is so, I'm so grateful for that, to the point where when she told me her book was coming out, I bought the book like that,
Yeah.
started reading it. I think I cried a lot through this book
Mhm.
because the first time was just go through it. Don't write anything down, just go through it. The second time I went through it, that was where the crying was really going. It was like, because there was a part where you said in the book, "Now, this is where I might lose you because I've lost a few other people at this point." It makes you face yourself. I face
Mhm.
myself. I do that on my own and out of my own free will. But to have a book that actually helps you, guides you through that, this is
Yeah.
amazing. And I was so happy to hear about her second edition that she watched me cry.
Yeah. It was, and then I value the sentiment and also the support, because the thing about it, when you step outside yourself, when you've been a person that's been private for most of your life, and God says it's time to tell your story, that is scary as you know what. And I began to speak out and to tell my story. And for those of you that don't know, at the time that I met Nakia, I was trying to decide, was I going to walk away from my 23-year marriage, or was I going to continue to stay in a relationship that no longer served me? And I'm here to tell you, on October of last year, my divorce became final after 2.5 years. Because even after I walked away, I still was looking for that
Yeah.
hallmark moment. And I held on just in case he thought he bumped his head and was going to come on back. But I didn't get my hallmark moment. And thank God I didn't, because on the other side of pain, that's when you can see, I can't believe I put up with that for that long. And
Exactly.
I'm at the understanding now that I won't put up for 23 minutes what I put up with for 23 years. And it's not that he's a bad guy. It's just a simple thing that I made some choices that were
Mhm.
not in my own best interest. And that's kind of what soul searchings talk about. That book was born out of me. I created that method because that's exactly what I did to get out of my stuck points. I was no longer willing to narrate my limiting beliefs. I took the braces off my brains and said, okay, girl, get your head out your rear end and get moving. Because I
Mhm.
knew there was more to me than what I had allowed to escape. And when you get to a place like I did after hearing about you and seeing that there is a path, what I call a path to freedom, I still found myself holding a bottle of pills on the National Crisis Hotline, about to take myself out and become another unnecessary silence. Joining the ranks of those that no longer could hold on to this world because the pain had become so great. And the beautiful gentleman on the other side of the phone said, after talking to me for 2 hours, said, "You sound like someone that likes to help people. Would you?" He said, and by then he realized that my word was important to me. My word is my bond. And
Mhm.
he said, "Give me your word that you'll only take one pill in that bottle and you'll get up tomorrow morning and find something to do." I gave him my word. So I took one pill, which put me to sleep. I got up the next morning. I was walking in my driveway, because by then I had already started walking in my driveway telling my story because of me hearing your story. And I joined the Be on TV boot camp. And I'm kind of competitive. And I went there that day. My hair wasn't. I have to show you the pictures one day. It was a hot mess. I showed up under protest, but I went. And they started talking about, write a story about your badass moments. Well, I'm a
Mhm.
retired Marine gunnery sergeant with 20 years of active service, and a former hospital administrator, a kid that started their first business at age 9. I've been able to write a business plan since I was age 12. I've been all over the world. 5 pages later, I had a lot of badass moments. And then you had to get online or live and tell people about it. And when I got online and told people what happened the day before, and then why I was doing this badass moment, people began to flood my inbox and my DMs and everything and tell me
Mhm.
how I mattered. And one in particular was this lady. She says, "I'm a white woman from Idaho." And she said, "I've been watching you walk in your driveway and watching you tell yourself Tuesday." And she told me how her 14-year-old son had committed suicide in January of that year that this happened. It's a couple of years ago, 2019. And that my voice mattered. And she was so glad that I didn't take my voice out. I remember I cried like a baby, and I said from that point on, I was going to be the voice for the voiceless. And that day I declared that I will not become an unnecessary silence. And that's when I reframed my PTSD from post traumatic stress disorder to I plan to show up daily. And I've been showing up daily ever since that time. And as the months have passed, I become known as the solutionist because people would say that I could see things other people often miss. And that's my tagline. I see things other people often miss. And so I am the solutionist, and I'm very good at helping other people solve their problems, even when I wasn't good, and helping my own self solve mine. And it's not that I hadn't been doing that for years, I just have
Right.
forgotten.
You forgot. And I'm good at being the example of that. I'm working through those things myself, especially when I tell you all about what I've used yesterday from this book to help me release some things that no longer was serving me.
Mm-mm.
um, we're doing this live mainly because we want to talk about this thing about forgiveness, because we both have experienced some things that has brought us to a point where people need to start talking about this stuff. We need to have a conversation about it. We need to be honest and real about it. And I'm a person that has no problem showing that to anybody. I'm real and
Mhm.
honest. And if you don't think I am, that's okay. You don't have to like it. But I'm open and honest and raw on purpose because I'm looking for those who need help. I'm
Mhm.
looking for them to see the mirror. I am you. Do
Yes.
same thing. I'm showing you what you look like. Don't look the other way. But my divorce story is all over YouTube.
Mhm.
And that started Listen Community. That actually I did it, the Beauty Cut Right. And then that's what started the Listen Community, because it was good to see in this book. She mentioned something about servicing others is what's going to feed your soul.
Mhm.
I didn't know I was doing that at the time,
Mhm.
but I was doing it. And it was so interesting that God allowed your energy to come in so he can show even myself, look what you did for her.
Yeah.
And now I'm standing here and saying, look what Brenda has done for me.
Yeah. That's a good feeling because when the connection came, I was just very happy, number one, to make the connection when I realized you had this community, because I went in just to sit and listen. But that was the thing about the community. Although it was the listen community, you couldn't just sit there and be a bump on the log. You had to participate. And there were women in that community that were cheering me on. There were women in the background saying, Brenda, you can do this. Brenda, don't give up. Keep going. I just saw you tell yourself Tuesday or your Wellness Wednesday. Girl, people need to hear you. And I began to believe that, because for a while I didn't, who wants to hear what's going on with me? I've had 3 marriages and 3 divorces. Who's going to listen to me? But you know what? I've learned something in them 3 marriages and them 3 divorces.
Okay.
And I now teach other women how not to make the mistakes that I did. I know the difference between how to create a safe space for a man, or a safe space in a relationship, in a friendship, in a job environment, because I have leadership training. There's a thread that runs through all of this. And the
Mhm.
truth is, I have been, which I think is hilarious, even though my marriage was falling apart, I had a very active marriage ministry, and very proud to say there are many people that have rock solid marriages because of what I taught them. And what I try to explain to people is, just because you don't necessarily excel at something doesn't mean you can't teach it. See, the principles of God, and when it comes to marriage, they don't change because Brenda Warren's marriage was falling apart. The principles are the principles.
Principles.
It's precept upon precept. The difference is there are some people that are willing to do the work. You can't do it by yourself.
Can't
You
do
need
it.
a partner that's willing to work with you. And if you don't have that, I don't care what the principle is, it's not going to work.
Mhm. So that brings us to forgiveness, because
Mm-hmm.
we both experienced something with
Yes.
the past couple of weeks. It's Mercury
Mhm.
retrograde. If you don't know what that means, Mercury rules communication, it rules technology, and it rules contracts and things like that. So it's brought us to a point where we're reversing and going back,
Mhm.
and we're fixing relationships. And the
Yes.
relationship that we are fixing is ourselves. We're
Yes.
fixing ourselves. 2022, you should be fixing you. No one is coming to save you. You are
Mhm.
your own savior. This
Say
book,
it.
when I say God knows exactly what he's doing in divine timing, because I was putting a lot of my attention on Wig Making 101 at the time. And
Mhm.
that's where I falled away from that group. And God said, "Oh, wait, Brenda, y'all been, they've, you, the women in that group pumped Brenda up so big that
Yes,
I
they did.
felt that I needed to step back so she could shine. And I
Mhm.
saw what she was doing, and it gave me an opportunity to be like her, to listen, to watch, and to learn, even though I was working so hard with Wig Making 101. But when we're talking about forgiveness,
Mhm.
because I am in a very loving, strong relationship. And I've
Mhm.
had a very narcissistic, emotionally abusive, try to be physically abusive, but I'm strong and I fight very well, for those of you who don't. Um, I'm not a combative person, but I can be if I'm angry. I can be when it's justified. So
Mhm.
forgiving self, me and Brenda agree to this one. That's
Mhm.
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You gotta
Mhm.
forgive yourself for allowing the shit to happen. You
Mhm.
gotta forgive yourself for missing the mark, so to speak,
Yeah.
because mistakes are nowhere near failures and bad things. This is just God trying to realign you to look at yourself. That's all he's trying to do. So, who should we forgive?
Well, the first person I forgave was my ex-husband, and I was telling you, even since we talked, I had such an amazing conversation regarding that level of forgiveness because I had blamed him for everything. Pretty much, if you heard me talk about him prior to now, he was the
Mhm.
devil incarnate. You know, he had no good qualities. He served no purpose.
He served
And
no.
served no purpose. And the truth is, see, that was the truth as I saw it before our conversation. But
Right,
after
right.
our conversation, I had to go take a look in a full length mirror and realize the part I played in that dramedy.
Woo,
Okay? And
strong.
it's funny when you look in a full length mirror and you get to really see. I had to do what I'm telling everybody. I had to do some soul searching. And the truth was, although uh, there was definitely some drama in this marriage, there was also a lot of good times in this marriage as well.
Mhm.
There were some things that I'm doing right to this day that if it had not been for that man, I would not be able to be as effective as I am right now. So as I began to write down, and I literally took a pen and paper, I wrote down all the negative, I wrote down all the positive.
Mhm.
And the truth was, to my surprise, was there was a lot of positive in my 23-year marriage.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, there was a lot of negative. But the truth is that I married an amazing man. And how do I know that? Because I would have never married him if I didn't think he was amazing in the first place.
This place,
But
right.
see, when you are living in pain and conflict and bitterness, you can't see the good if it was just thrown in your face. And once I began to peel back the layers of hurt, I was like, all right, you're not a bad guy after all. I'm gonna give you your props for fatherhood. Okay, I got a good kid. They have a great relationship with each other. I'm gonna give you props for the things that you did do right. And when you start looking at somebody from that lens, it's easier to forgive even the infractions. And then I had to go back and ask for forgiveness for those things that I did that when looking back, when I didn't hold space for him, when I
Mhm.
didn't allow for his voice to be heard because I was right. It's just like,
Yeah.
my way or the highway. And looking at it now, when somebody asks me, how did my marriage end? No longer will you get the old, let me tell you about this narcissistic piece of crap.
Right, right, right.
Took up space in my life for 23 years, getting the best years of my life as if he was worth all that. No, you ain't gonna hear that no more. So y'all, this is
No.
the last time y'all gonna see that. Okay. What you're gonna hear is that two imperfect people that did not know how to communicate came together and exploded.
Mm,
And now we are a conscious uncoupling that are in a good place mentally, emotionally, that we can even hang out socially, and we have. And had a good conversation, like, yeah, Brent, that was kind of jacked up. Yeah, I was jacked up too. No, we weren't emotionally, mentally, or
aligned,
spiritually
aligned, yes.
aligned.
Understood,
We
yes.
were not. And when you take that step back and go, you can look at it and say, I can forgive you. He can forgive me. And then I'll take it a step further, because this is what I do. Now I'm looking for the gift in the 23 years that I used to call my living hell. And the gift is that now I teach people all over the world how not to do what I did for 23 years, which is settle, which is put up with stuff
Settle.
that you should never put up with. Because on the outside, people will see you. We were, if you, truth be told, we were couple goals. Because when people saw us in public, we had the church smiles on. Hallelujah, praise God. We're in
I
ministry.
get
We're doing all
that.
the right things.
I
We could
get
do it. Nobody knew there was a crack in our foundation until we said we're getting a divorce. They were like, "What?" The shock and awe. People were just crying, falling all out. And I'm like, "Get up. It's okay, sweetie. It's gonna
it's
be all
okay.
right." It's okay. Because when you live the lie long enough, you start believing it yourself.
That right there. And the
Mhm.
lies we tell ourselves,
The lies we tell ourselves. There's
the
some
li-
doozies.
they're big ones. See, my situation is different because I did all the right things. Not a bad person, just mental illness happens to a lot of us. And I have a
Mm-hmm.
soft spot for people with mental illness. It's just my truth. I
Mm-hmm.
do. And what I had to learn in my marriage was you can't fix people.
You can only fix yourself.
Only fix yourself. I had to fix myself. And when I decided that I had enough, when Nakia says she's done, she's done.
Not just the kid. That's most people. But some people it takes a lot longer
Different. Yeah, it
because
takes them longer. Like you got to spring into action. It's we learned this, Dr. Marshall, and you guys will learn about, but this is in this book too. It's about your why, but your story, your narrative that
Mhm,
you speak to yourself. That's why it's non-negotiable to forgive yourself first.
mhm,
The golden ticket for me is I understand forgiveness in two ways. I understand forgiveness that is given to people who deserve it out of compassion and
mhm,
kindness. And I understand not giving forgiveness because of the heart condition and the intent of the person showed in their actions towards how they treated me. So, as the person that this has happened to, because you got to hear it slightly different, things happen for you. For someone this has happened to or for, it helped me
mhm,
learn something. But I got a release when I realized it was okay not to forgive the other person. That was my golden ticket release. But then I had a chance to get an understanding of
mhm.
Brenda's point of view because it was shown to me through my significant other what it looks like, what I was trying to say. And to understand forgiveness is okay to forgive and it's okay not to forgive, but it's never okay to not forgive yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes. The why. I'm gonna go to the page. It's like I gotta go to it. Go ahead, Brenda. Let me find it
No, but
because
when you talk about it, because our views on forgiveness are different. Because I think it's important. that people not only forgive themselves, but forgive the person that offended them. And there's a couple of ways I use this analogy is that for me, and my friend Debbie Seagrove taught me this about being in the box. See, this is my
Right.
box.
Right.
I only allow into my box what I want in there. So I'm not going to allow negativity. I'm not going to allow somebody to make me feel ashamed of who I am or what I've done. Like when people say, you've been married 3 times, divorced 3 times, they get the little funky face. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my truth. It is what it is. You can't shame me about what I've already done, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right.
But the
And you.
forgiveness comes in, and you mentioned there about how the person's intent. For me, it doesn't matter their intent because that's not in my box. Your
Mm-hmm.
intent, your motives, whatever, they're not allowed in my box. So I don't
Right.
get caught up in other people's motives or their thought process on why they did something. Because there were some things my husband did intentionally to hurt me, and he admitted to it.
Mm-hmm.
If I dwelt on that, he'd never be forgiven. But what I understand is that for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not willing to allow the negativity that I would project because of what he did to hurt me. Because my grandmother she used the analogy of the hot potato, and I'm sure a lot of you heard this.
Yep.
Hold the hot potato. If you hold on to it, who's going to get burnt? You or them? And that's what allowing someone to give me negativity or whatever. It's like holding a hot potato that I'm getting my hand burnt, and I'm not willing to get burnt anymore because of other people's
Mm.
misdeeds. So
Misdeed.
I'm choosing to let them go, let them fall by the wayside, and keep my hands nice and purty.
Mhm. I've chosen to forgive the ones I love and
Mm-hmm.
forget the ones I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's harsh. It may sound like, oh, that's messed up. It's coming from a loving place. The loving place that it's coming from is me showing love and honor to myself and my boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And see,
This,
here's the thing. That's what you say about when we say you may not agree with someone's perspective on a topic. Is it to forgive or not to forgive? But what's healthy is to be able to agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Because here's the thing, you forgiving or not forgiving someone is not going to affect my box. Yeah, that's my box. So I'm not tied to the outcome of your forgiveness or your lack thereof. What I am tied to is making sure that as your friend, that I would say, there may be another way. And once I've done that, I'm not tied to how you receive what I believe. Because again, that's my belief, that's my truth, and it may not be yours. And
Mhm.
that's okay.
Always okay. And this is including all relationships, even
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even business relationships, client to coach, business just relationships in general. Period. But February is a month of rooting and getting back to foundations of family and relationship. And we are so far from it. We are ruining the earth right now with us not paying attention to our relationship with our Lord and with our mothers and with this earth and with those that we love dearly and that are our family members.
And can
But
I add in there our
yes.
relationship with ourselves? Because the things we're doing to destroy our own selves by not eating right, not exercising, not journaling, not meditating, not praying, not removing the toxic relationships that are killing us.
Mhm.
I got to say, I'm going to say this here before I forget about it, but we talked about this when we talked. You cannot keep giving somebody something they already don't appreciate and make them love you more. And so many times women do that. They say, well, if I give him more of this, or if I lose weight, if I get longer hair, get a better weave, he's gonna love me more. Girl, stop.
No. Mm-mm.
Love yourself, and
Right.
then the rest of it will follow. Because when you begin to love yourself, you won't put up with a toxic relationship too. Because that was the thing. I was good long as I was sitting on the couch, gaining weight, eating Doritos, and drinking Diet Pepsis. I was 65 pounds heavier. I was miserable. But when I got off that couch and I started getting fit, fierce, and fabulous, and my mind started getting released.
I remember the pictures and
Ooh,
everything.
that when you start loving yourself, you will not allow other people to not love you or to disrespect you. It just won't happen because it won't sit with you. That's part of the soul search.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's part of getting clear on your core values. It's also getting to what you're talking about, the why. Why am I in this relationship after 23 years of being miserable
Right
and it
into
still ain't changing? Why?
it's her book. So she went right to what I was about to talk about was the why.
The why.
I use this. I use the so 12th time with this book. Just trying to find ways to be of service to people, more so spiritually, because of my connection with Brenda and how I listen to her through this book. And when she talks, and she don't know, but your why. I use this same thing with a group that I am getting ready to release myself for my own sanity. I have a lot of things that I have to deal with, I have to put into order for myself, because what I'm expected to do by becoming back like this, because I'm back, y'all, but I'm bringing some people with me.
There
And
you go.
you go, this is one to sit. Wait, what to do it this way? Okay, she right here, Brenda, right here. For everything to come back full circle. But knowing that I no longer choose to put my energy in wig making 101, because I have it in, if y'all know, I'm raw and honest. I just did a video on it. I put it on all of my channels. And then I put another one on wig making 101, expressing my apologizing, forgiveness. Like, I understand when things change, it hurts people
Mm-hmm.
when you leave. I understand that. But my sanity, my work, me, it had to come back to me. My business is me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want it to be better, you got to fix me. And the hard part was, once I realized what was going on with me, now I had to release this entity that was draining me. And I was hoping that I could communicate to them, hey, I know y'all came here for wig making 101. I know you did, but this is where I'm at. This is where my boundaries are. This is the direction I'm getting ready to go. I'm clear on it. I know I might come back, and I know that's me because I care. I'm a recovering people pleaser, and I'm still recovering with that. But to get them to see why, and I had them take a piece of paper and a pen. You need to write things down. The first thing I asked them is, what do you want to do? Write it down. I want this. And then you already know what I went into.
Right.
Why?
Why?
And then after you've said that, now why that?
Mm-hmm.
In the book, you say something about going up to 7. And there was one particular aspect of your story. You said you did the same thing, but you was way past 7.
I was like 21 or something like that because
Yeah,
it was.
21. That's what it was. And
Yeah.
it's like that goes to show how clear you are of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that you stopped it at 7, because most people consider 7 as a number of completion. And
Completion, right?
that last why tends
Mm-hmm.
to be the real thing you need to manifest in your life. You need to
Absolutely.
bring your mind, your heart, and your body, your state, what you do, how you motivate others, or whatever it is that you do. Those all have to be in alignment. I was at war with myself with Wig Making 101 when you told me your book. I was like, oh, I got another book. Oh, Lord Jesus got me. He got me good. He's like, oh, don't worry. She got a book for you on this one. So I can't wait to get this book. You have
But
no idea.
I want to mention something right there. What you pointed out about the stopping at 7. 7 is the normal standard one. But here's the thing: some people will find they go past 7, especially if they're in denial. See, the reason I had to go to 21 is because I was in denial. See, and I try to, I'm transparent. I want people to know the real deal. I can do the 7 layers deep now, the 7 reasons why to 7, because I'm not lying to myself anymore.
Yeah, you're not
But
lying.
I have had a lot of clients that have gone past 7. When you start going past 7, I start doing the back. Let's go to backstory because there's more to it because you haven't gotten real yet. But normally, most people, even if they're not the best of places, can go to 7 and get to their real why. But you have some hard cases like me that have been in denial so long that the lie has become the truth, that it's going to take you a lot more than 7 layers to get to the real reason why you are in a thing, why you do a thing, why you are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And let me go back to something you also said. You talk about you're done with wig making one-on-one, and that may be true. I say maybe,
Yeah, no,
but
you know.
there's an opportunity there for
Mm-hmm.
someone else to step up and take the plate. Remember, we're not the only people on this planet. And I always say my light does not have to dim because another sister light shine. And just like in the listen community, you took a step back and allowed Latrice, Vanessa, myself, and others come forward. There may be someone in wig making one-on-one right now that could take over
Mm-hmm. I
or
believe
be
it.
brought forward because that's their real dream. They go, I've always wanted to do what she's doing. And maybe you could mentor them into that and then let it go and have a mentor type situation where you don't have to have the daily hands. And I think we often overlook that even as we are pivoting and shifting to things, there are other people ready to step up. It doesn't have to end because we stop. Sometimes our season is just over.
Mm-hmm.
And if you still feel any kind of pull to that, then that's the opportunity for you to make arrangements to then mentor somebody, and you still get the benefit of making money from working one-on-one without actually physically having to be there all the time. Just saying. That's part of the solution to me.
Now you ladies are getting to see how she coaches. Like this is what I listen to. This is who I listen to. I'm just gonna say it. It is. She's a we know it's solutions. You have
Mm-hmm.
solutions. The lad, when I was talking about this, you brought up some other things without even knowing the depths of what I was dealing with and liquidating other businesses. So you didn't know
Right.
what I was dealing with, but you came out with solutions. I was like, Lord, you is not funny. You not funny. Okay, I hear her. I hear you. I hear her. I hear it. So I had to take the steps. You got to manifest the action. You got to bring your body, your mind, and your heart all together at one for that one particular thing that you really want. So when you gave me those solutions, I was like, okay, I wrote them all
Mm-hmm.
and I reevaluated them and I went through a 4-step process to figure out how I was going to do it. I'm a strategist.
Mm-hmm. And
So
see, that's the beauty of the book. It's the tap in method. It's about tapping into how you want to live your best life. I tell every woman, your story is your story. But here's the thing. You now are being given the power to use your pen. Write the story you want to write. Write the story you want to live. And if you're going to write a story, you might as well make it an epic adventure. You know, it's time out in 2022 for sitting on the sideline, being people pleasers, trying to make everybody else happy.
mhm,
Because at 59 years old, I'm not trying to please nobody but Brenda Warren anymore. I am so over trying to make everybody comfortable as I walk through this life. I am
mhm,
saying I am ready to live unapologetically unstoppable and do whatever it takes to get more women to know that living your best life is possible. And that was why I wanted to write the book in the first place, was saying, get off the couch, start moving. It don't have to be perfect. It just needs to be done.
mhm. And me wanting to work with you and knowing that's your goal, that was your motive, and stars align for all of that. God sees all of that. So everything started to align once I realized, wait, let me go back. Let me go back. Wait a minute. What gave me peace?
Mm-hmm.
Who who poured into me? I was like, I just left my tried and true people. What in the world is wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
I just left my tried, but I didn't leave. I didn't leave
Mm-hmm.
them. I had to take care of a situation. And it was beautiful to for you to step in, being someone who watched me,
Mm-hmm.
got up, decided to do and go and be unapologetic, and then not only took that for yourself, you came and poured into me and those that were with me. And
Yeah.
that was so appreciated. You have no idea. Y'all need this book if you ain't got it.
Yeah.
Because it's time to stop hiding from yourself. I am
Yes.
in the process of trying to stop hiding from myself. There is a message that needs to be out there, and it needs to get out there somehow. And all I can say is I'm grateful that Brenda's here. I'm grateful for her solution. Her what she has put into this book has helped me to be a better businesswoman, has helped me to be a better person to myself, more so than anything. How to love myself, how to identify my boundaries. One of the boundaries that I had a hard time learning, because again, we're talking about February, is about relationships and grounding and foundations.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was really hard for me is feeling misunderstood,
Mm-hmm.
being put on a pedestal, being considered a know it all. And I've always, when I was a little girl, I used to always think, what did it feel like for a person that had this heightened understanding of themselves? What does that feel like? I had no idea I was manifesting that. Oh, you want to know, huh? You about to find out.
Yeah.
Roller coaster, Brenda. And when there are women like you who put things out like this to help people, it's appreciated. I really, and when I say I really want you to shine in this aspect, I really do want you to shine. I got a message that I'm putting out there. It's all about the why for February. It's all about rooting yourself in the foundations. It's all about getting back to Mother Earth. I don't care what you believe in, who you serve, or whatever that may be, but the world, the universe, source of life is trying to get us to pay attention to ourselves. It is time for you to say, I am my higher self. Y'all need this book, damn it. You want to know your higher self? You need this book. You need this book. Man, and then the next one. Oh yes,
Yeah.
talk about your. Do you want to talk about your the second edition and why you
Yeah.
decided?
Yeah, the second edition of Soul Searching is on sale for pre-order right now on Amazon, and we're doing the book launch, like I said, on February 11th.
Yep.
And the reason I wanted to do the book was because women are using the book in book studies all over the world, which I was just so thrilled to hear that they were doing that. And I will be forever grateful for Pastor Mercy Miles Jenkins over there at Legacy Driven Publishing,
Publishing.
who got me to do this book. She got me to write it in 7 days, which I thought, this woman is crazy, but she was true. She did it. And so uh, now, after people have actually read the book and it's gotten such great feedback,
Mm-hmm.
I took some of the questions that the ladies asked and I decided to make a second edition because I thought it was enough to bring clarity to some of the things that they questioned. And not questioned in a bad way, but just was like, yeah, I could have said that differently, or I could have flushed it out a little bit more. One thing in particular that I really got a kick out of was there's a financial section in there because I'm in the TAPIN method.
Yep.
I take a full body holistic approach. We talk about your relationship, your spirituality, your professional life, your wellness, your mental emotional state, everything, finances, the whole nine. And
Right.
I used a an example of saving a $1 a month for your and showing how compound interest goes, but it goes up to like where you'll be saving $30,000 a month. And I had several women say that's unrealistic. So I'm going to change that chapter and use a penny because that resonated with more people. So when I talked to him about if I had used a penny and did the same thing at the end, you come up with 600, would that have been more believable? The lady said yes. So I'm going to change things like that. There were some things that I added because of the Jada and what's
Oh, Jada and Will Smith
the situationship. I just love
situation. You
because
like
I
that
have
word
a
too.
relationship section, so I'm going to throw situationship all up in there. So I'm just bringing it up to date because it has been 2 years since I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my thoughts on forgiveness are a little bit different. So I'm adding some things in there in reference to that because I now can see the gift in everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't see the gift in what had transpired during my marriage. And I now can say I thank God for that marriage, for the lessons I learned,
Mhm.
and how I now understand that there are certain things that you can't afford to compromise on, you
Exactly.
know, and we will often defer to man when we should be, um, deferring to God in reference to how we conduct ourselves and how we show up in this world. And like you, I'm believing God's trying to tell us all something. And one of the things I believe He's trying to tell us is that He is not this small little being that we're placing in a box. I'm personally taking the limits off of God.
He
Because
does
if
not.
you had told me I'd lived the life that I live right now 18 months ago, heck, even 6 months ago, I'd have told you on hallucinogenic drugs. But I now sit here in the comfort of my home doing 4 different masterminds. I have one called the Assembly that talks to people all over the world. They're in Japan, Nigeria, the Philippines, Barcelona, Rio de Janeiro. I'm like, what? The UK. I am just amazed at how God has opened doors for me that no man can shut. Because when
Try
He
not to cry because I was
He
crying when
does,
you were telling me this.
and when I saw you on that couch, I was in so much debt I couldn't borrow money from my mama. Now I'm debt. Do you understand what I'm saying? That ain't nothing but God. No man can take credit for that.
Yeah, and the way we clicked so
Yeah.
quickly, like just the identifying and learning you and your thoughts, and I'm like, wow, I'm not the only one.
No, you're a serial entrepreneur, so am I. Right now, as we speak today, before I came on here, I was at Office Depot getting the books that I'm about to release printed out so I can do the final edits. I have a business book coming out. I have a children's book coming out. The relationship book, Side Chick Confessions. Y'all want to hear this one? We're gonna be
Right.
talking about the sex that makes the angels blush in that book. Talking dirty after dark. We're gonna borrow my friend Wisdom's Turn, the Grown Folks Lounge. If you ain't grown, you do not want to read this book. So we're gonna, there's a lot of fun things that are happening, and they're happening because I was able to see this beautiful chocolate woman sitting on a couch crying,
Then
telling her truth, and saying that you were no longer willing to hide. See, because I was such a chameleon. When I say I blended into the background, you see, sometimes even when you had, and there's some woman out there that needs to hear this today, you can
yes,
have all kind of gifts. You can have the voice of an angel. You can have the mind of a scientist, but you're sitting home on your couch saying, but nobody wants to hear from me. The devil is a liar. There is some woman that needs to hear your story so she'll get off the couch.
somebody.
Hmm.
'Cause if you don't share your story, then that person that can help you on the second journey of your soul enlightening,
Yes.
she will not or he will not be there to guide you.
Do you want to be responsible for a woman being stuck on the couch because you wouldn't get off of yours? I don't think so. It's important that we begin to tell our story. I tell everybody, turn your mess into a message for the masses. See, because too many of us are dying with our stories inside. We need to
Mhm.
begin to say, we need to get the word out to women that don't stay in a bad relationship because of your kids. Because let me tell you, it's not helping your kids because they know you're miserable. I was so shocked when my 21-year-old goes, Mama, really? Remember, I lived in this house. And they begin to break down the things of, now mind you, I'm telling my child, don't be with a man that disrespects you. Don't be with a man da 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 da, all this stuff like this here. And
Mhm.
my child looked me in the face and said, Mama, I felt like you was one of the biggest hypocrites. My heart was broken. I said,
Wow.
what do you mean? How do you tell me that I am a love of a lifetime, that I can have the love of a lifetime, and then you living in that mess? Oh God, that
Okay.
that right there. If you're a mom out there or a dad, even, you know what that's like when your child tells you a truth. Although
Mhm.
they're grown now, it's still my child. That's my baby. But at 21, my kid said, Mama, you should have left a long time ago.
Mhm.
And I thought I was staying because I didn't want my child to be a statistic, to be in, I didn't want to be a single parent. I didn't want going back and forth. I thought I was doing my kid a favor. And my kid said, Mama, we were in the same house, but I was living in two different locations. Because me and him was never in the same thing.
See,
So he's my child said they felt really bad when people said, "What you could play? You live in the house with both parents," but he said, but they didn't know that my parents were never in the same room at the same time.
same
Didn't barely spoke to each other for over 20 something years. Come on now,
what kind of energy is that providing
you know
for our life
that is
home
soul sucking energy that will kill you
for the child? And I've had that
for the
experience
child,
too.
for the
Hmm.
child, for you. And there comes a time where you have to go. I tell her, I said, look at me now. I am 59 years old. And I think I'm doing pretty good there, y'all. But if you hadn't seen me 3 years ago, I looked every bit of my age because I was hurting. I was depressed. I picked
Mhm.
up bad behaviors. There's so much of a change when you do your mindset shift and you begin to tap in to the life you want to live. And it is possible. I don't care where you are, where you're at. You just have to get some clarity and decide. And can I tell them how they tap in? Is that okay?
Yes,
Because
please
we're
do.
coming to the end. The way you tap in is tap in is an acronym for the five step process that I created to help you get past your stuck points. And the first thing is the T. T is transformation stage. That's where you transform your mindset so that you can prepare yourself to get ready for your breakthrough. Excuse me, transform your mindset so you can shift to your breakthrough. Okay. And then the A is for announcing and accountability. I gave those one A, I gave two things. I'll announce and accountability. I want you to announce that you're ready to make the mindset shift
And
so
now,
that you can live the life you want to live. And then I want you to get some accountability. See, Nakia's part of my accountability. My friend Lisa's part of my accountability. I have several different coaches and counselors that help keep me accountable so that I'm doing the things I said I want to do. Like when I say I want to be fit, fierce, and fabulous, I had to get a trainer. You know, I say I want to be able to speak, I had to get a public speaking coach, things of that nature. So you transform your mindset, you announce what you're going to do, and you get some accountability. And then the P is for prepare. That's where you prepare for your breakthrough at. You're going to prepare yourself by whatever it is. If you want to lose weight, then you're going to get a gym membership or you're going to get some dumbbells or something that you're going to be able to work out in your home. Whatever you say you're going to do. If you say you want to get out of debt, then your first thing you're going to do is stop saying, I want to get out of debt. You're going to say, I'm out of debt and begin to spend responsibly. That's a whole nother class. But the key is you're going to prepare yourself for whatever it is you say you want. And then that's where I love because that's where you begin to imagine. I want you to use some visualization. Clutch your pearls, Christians. Yes, you can visualize, because they what is it? You got to speak those things that are not as if they were. So it's vision. That's Bible. I want you to visualize the life you want to live. I want you to think about what do you want your life to look like 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. You got to begin to imagine how good it's going to feel when you've gotten rid of those toxic relationships and release those blood sucking emotional and financial vampires that are sucking the life out of you. Let them go. And then the end is where you nurture everything above so that you can begin to bring all your dreams. You're going to close the gap between your reality to your dream so that they are so in sync that there's no way you're going back to that mess that you used to put up with. Because when something no longer serves you, you need to let it go and tap in to the life you want to live.
yes. To add to that, somebody out there is staying in a situation because they are afraid to face themselves. They are staying in a situation because they are afraid they will never get closure. They are afraid, kids, but I don't see that. I see everything as it's the self. People are afraid to face themselves. People are afraid to take responsibility. People are blaming others. They're blaming religion. They're blaming the government. They blaming everybody instead of looking at themselves. That is important. I'm going to bring this up again. February is about roots and history. You need to tap into that so you can transform your mind first. Once you know that, then you can announce your story. Now you can put your story out there.
And when you say that, and that all comes back to what we started the topic about, to forgive or not to forgive. You need to tap into forgiveness as you see it. You said we don't get to decide if you want to forgive just this person, that person, whatever. It is Where are you? You need to get real with yourself and you get to decide. Because remember, what you decide is not going to affect my box, but it definitely will affect yours.
Definitely. Your whole aspect of you, mind, heart, the mind, body, and soul, it affects you. Your body is telling you it needs your attention. It don't need nobody else. It don't need Jesus' attention. It needs your attention. You need to take responsibility for self. That is the key. Jesus is an example. You follow it, not worship it. It's a difference. So, Brenda, I told y'all she was good. I told y'all gonna love her. It's in the last video. I told y'all gonna love her. I can't wait till y'all meet her because I knew you had an amazing message. You've been so helpful to me as well, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm also glad that I did what I did because it brought you. This is
Yeah.
what manifesting looks like. This is how you attract abundance in your life, and she's good at it. I saw it. And I was like, okay, you know, you got to see that. So if any of you are dealing with any type of jealousy or envy of people that you see, because with Brenda, when she told me what she was doing, and when she, oh, I swear my tears was of joy. I was so happy for her because she was saying, look, I did this, I did this, and I did this, and look where I'm at, and look, and it's all because you sat on the couch and told me your story. Like, what is no mine, my business? But I don't mind sharing myself. So I don't mind that. I think people need to see a black woman actually display a type of leadership and to have to have communication and resources like people like you. See, I gotta like
Mm-hmm.
work.
You have to write, yeah.
Yeah, for them to see more than just me, to see more than just me. So me being out there and putting myself out there is not for you to be jealous of. It's not for you to put me in a pedestal. It's not for you to criticize. It is for you to be inspired. It is for you to
Yes.
manifest your reality. Because I'm manifesting the hell out of mine right now.
I know I
And
am.
put it all on camera. And I don't
Yeah.
have a problem showing y'all that. It just takes time to accept yourself. And this is why you need this book because she teaches you how to accept the soul in you.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yes.
going to put the links in the bottom for you guys to get the book. We will be returning. We may be trying to do this more often because just the
Mm-hmm.
energy and just what we have to say, it's two perspectives, but this is fun to see that the perspectives are different, but we understand and we respect. And this is what
Absolutely.
black women, period, this is what we need. We need to stop being competitive and start listening to each other and learn from each other's mistakes and their successes.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to write a book, so thank you for being successful. Okay.
Look, success leaves clues. I tell my clients that all the
Yes.
time. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but your
No.
story is your story, and it's worth telling.
We love you all.
Yeah,
Me
we
and
do.
Brenda love you all. Those of you in the Listen community, if you are watching this on the Listen community, we love you. We're coming back. Okay? You were watching. We're coming back. It just gives me time, but I'm coming really full force. I'm a Sagittarius, so you know how fire goes. I'm very warm and loving, but fire can consume and it can move fast, and it's gonna feel like that for a little while because I am trying to show what it looks like to transform yourself. I am in the middle of transforming myself, and that's what I need to show. And thank God for Brenda. That's what I'm going to say.
That's a
So
good one.
please forgive or not to forgive. We both agree it's non negotiable. You should forgive yourself. It
Yeah.
is non negotiable. But forgiving, you choose whether that person deserves your forgiveness or not. But make sure that why is coming from compassion, love, and responsibility. We love y'all. You don't love them neither, Brenda. I'm gonna
Yes.
close out here. I'm gonna
Well,
close
I'll
out.
just close it all up. What I always say when I end the broadcast is remember, ladies, the choices you make today will be the reality you live tomorrow. Choose wisely.
We love you all. You'll see us again. Bye, all.
Bye.